Meteorologist Zach Friello in conjunction with HurricaneTrack.com. We're tracking Irma. Has already made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane just to the east of Key West. So it's made a landfall in the Keys, but it's back over water. Of course, the Keys are just a chain of islands, okay? So there's really no land there except for little bitty islands. Now we're talking about an eventual final landfall point, which keeps sort of shifting to the right a little bit. But first, we're going to start with a live look currently at one of the cameras that Mark has out there. This is in Marco Island. This is a live look out there, and right now the water is very low. All along the west coast of Florida, we have offshore winds, so the water is very low in those locations. But you can always view this on Ustream. Just on Ustream on HurricaneTrack.com. You can check everything out there, and also with the Hurricane Impact app, you can look at all of the weather instruments that Mark has out on the west coast of Florida. And I think this is going to be a pretty impressive shot as we go throughout the day today once the surge starts to move inland. Right now, the surge is actually moving offshore of southwest Florida, and I can show you why with the latest radar imagery. Put this in motion, and clearly you see the winds up here are all moving offshore. They're all going this way, so the water's getting pushed out. But as this storm works its way up the coast, right along the coast, that wind's going to all of a sudden turn due south, and it's going to blow a lot of water in, okay? And it's going to be blowing it in fast and furious, and that's what we're trying. People are so amused right now on the west coast of Florida, the ones that did stay, that, hey, the water's, the water is it all went out. It all went out to sea. Don't be amused by it, because when it comes in, once the storm center gets closer and the wind shift, the water is going to come in very fast and very furious. Just an overall picture right now. I'm going to stop this motion so I don't get you sick at home. Eye wall right here. That's your 100+ miles per hour winds. That is going to intersect the coast right around Marco Island, right into Naples, right into places like Fort Myers, Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte. This storm is going to rake the coast. It has taken a jog north, I might add. And if I thought it would continue north into here, less populated area, right into the Everglades would be good. But it's almost recently it's jogging back more northwest. So you take the general mean motion, it's going to run right up the west coast of Florida. Right now, the worst of the weather is all over the Everglades and in the northeastern quadrant, which is now moving into Miami. Miami's seeing the worst weather right now, and it's going to stay pretty bad throughout the afternoon hours, but then it's going to still slowly subside. Notice 83 miles per hour wind gusts just offshore Miami. They are getting hurricane force gusts in the southeastern Florida from West Palm down southward. We are seeing hurricane force wind gusts. The Keys, the weather is improving. You still have surge problems, though, but as far as the winds, the 100 miles per hour winds have now moved to your north and are right around the center as it moves farther north. The storm is still, as of the 11 a.m. advisory, nothing really has changed. We're still talking about an intense hurricane, 130 miles per hour, Category 4 storm. This is the latest track from the Hurricane Center, and again, we're not seeing much change. Like I said, there's been this jog north. You see it in the last few plots, and it keeps bouncing back and forth, but we are expecting some type of landfall right around Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda. But notice, it's not like Charlie moved inland and then went this way, and that's why Tampa Bay missed out on most of Hurricane Charlie. This one is going to do the opposite. It's going to continue right into Tampa Bay. So the direct to the west coast of Florida is just now ramping up. We're just now starting to see those hurricane force winds move inland into the southwestern corner of the state. And when that eye wall gets farther up the coast and actually starts to intersect the coast, that's when we're going to start to see the really bad, wind speeds pick up. I think there's over 1 million power outages already in Florida, and this storm is just starting. This is just the beginning. I'm going to do is I'm going to plot the wind speeds, or the future wind speed forecast, as we go throughout as we project it out along the cone, okay, here, and show you. Notice how the entire west coast of Florida is going to be covered in this hurricane force winds, maybe as far north as someplace like Tallahassee too. So this is just getting started for the west coast. The worst of the weather moved through the Keys, but remember, we wanted everybody out of the Keys, and I think most people did stay out of the Keys. We've lost a lot of communication with the Keys now, but we did report a wind gust to 120 miles per hour in the Keys earlier this morning, so that's something to sort of take note of. Back to the radar and just kind of close it up. There's a lot going on right now, but the big picture is don't let the low water on the west coast fool you. The storm surge is going to come in heavy. When this center gets somewhere like right here, or maybe a little bit close to the coast, that wind, that southerly wind is going to go from, up to over 100 miles per hour. That is going to push a lot of water. Remember, just because you're pushing the water offshore, remember, that water is out here now. And when that storm center comes through, it's going to pull all that water in as well. Even up the coast, same story. If you're in Tampa Bay, places like that, we're only talking about 20 miles per hour winds right now. So everybody's wondering, where is the worst of the weather? Well, it's coming. It's just going to take its time to get there. The worst of the weather right now is across southeast Florida, from Miami up north to West Palm. That is where we're seeing the heaviest weather impacts as far as wind speeds go right now. It is across this northeastern quadrant, but as the storm works up the coast, it's only going to get worse for southwest Florida, from Naples first, Marco Island, Naples area, on northward. That's when we're going to start to see the major impacts. Probably within the next 2 or 3 hours, that's when things are really going to start to go downhill in Naples, and then it'll slowly work up the coast throughout the afternoon, throughout the evening. Again, this is a long duration event. It's like almost like people hear, oh, it made landfall in the Keys. That was just one little step. We have about 10 steps to go, and that was one of 10. We still have 9 more steps, and the next one's going to be when the storm actually starts to move close to the coast and we get that eye wall moving inland in the portion of southwest Florida. The surge is going to quickly move in, and then the wind impacts there as well are going to move in. Latest update from the National Hurricane Center, 11 a.m. We're talking still a Category 4 storm, 130 miles per hour, and it's poised to move right up the west coast of Florida. I'm meteorologist Zach Farrelly with this update for HurricaneTrack.com. Remember, Hurricane Impact app. You can follow along there. Also, streaming that Marco Island camera. I think that's going to be very impressive as we go into this afternoon as the surge moves into Florida. Again, have a great day.